Lumba, I'm not sure anybody in the industry can say that I really know him. No. I want to see that person who will come out and say, Appetus will talk about the studio sessions. Of the studio sessions, you won't know Lumba. So, even me, I'll be very careful with what I say about him because I only know him from the professional level, work. Off work, he is a love me, hate me character. I'm sure people who have worked with him, who have heard very good things about him right now, some of them are also saying, is it the same Lumba you are talking about? Because if he has to be tough and rough, he can be. And he can be extremely nice. I'm sure you saw his last performance when he was calling people to come on stage. And he's always thanking people. You know his last comment that he made on his own radio station was, Makramo, that was his last line on his own radio station. And he said this Makramo on the BBGJ album when I just completed St. Augustine's. So, his way of thinking, I mentioned on Adoma FM on Saturday that he is an eccentric performer. And most great performers, I'm sure you all know, Prince, Michael Jackson, are eccentric. You need that level of mind to be able to become as great as they become. So it's difficult to understand such people. They are not, I mean, have you seen that Lumba's expression? I remember when I was having a conversation with him and said that, I like Makramo. That's my favorite song from you. That was when he was working with Apietus. Because like Apietus said, I became a studio manager by force, booking. So I was holding the book and Lumba came around. I said, my favorite song is Makramo. And then he said, why do you like Makramo? Then I said that, one, I'd listened to him from Okraku when he was sounding like Akwesi Ampofo. Then, so over time, I got to know that his role model was Akwesi Ampofo because they all came from, or they come from, Asante Mampong, where when Ampofo was rehearsing as a band, he would come from school and go and stand there and look at admire Ampofo, and then he picked the soul of Ampofo vocal delivery. So if you listen to Okraku, Obiatum Sobo, he sounded like Ampofo. And then I think he has some softness for one musician Ghana is underrated. Or nobody really is discussing, but he has influenced a lot of people. Adumaku Nyameche. Adumaku Nyameche has influenced people like Oheneba Kisi. Even Lumba. Most of the lines that you hear at the tail end that he does, most of the endings that is is from Adumaku Nyameche. And Lumba himself has said it that one musician he admires most is Adumaku Nyameche. So he started sounding like Adumaku Nyameche. So by the time he got to Makramo, but the Stiga had changed his sound. The Makramo album is the BBGJ album. And then when he did the vocal, apart from the composition, I am not a composition as in lyrics person. Because for music producers, we listen to package. We only want to sell and make the money. Kwesichum. Orientation. Yes. So, Kwesichum orientation. So we want to make money. So we are interested in marketing. But if you listen to the production and how he did the vocal delivery, he sang it like somebody who was standing by a dead body and was crying and was mourning himself. So if you listen to the song today, you see he sang the song mourning himself whilst he was alive. So when I told him, this man, after all the good things I've said about his song, no emotions. Yes, he cannot even celebrate his own hard work, even if you tell him. He will just look at your face as if that nothing is happening. That is Lumba for you. So anyone in the industry, have you ever seen Lumba at a funeral before?
I haven't.
Correct. That is Lumba for you. So he even mentioned on his channel, his own radio station, that people think, they say all sorts of things about him, but because he's a home kind of person, people do not know him. He mentioned it himself. And it's true. the industry that he played in or he operated in only knew his professional side. Even that.
True.
How many times would you see Lumba? He will live in Germany. But then he has this nice side. I mean, someone like me, he was one of my motivators. My first motivator will always be Kusichum. Always. Second, one man who said something to me that he doesn't even know went into my soul, an chemist. One day I was on Joyce Slow Jam and there's a room, and then somebody enters the studio and said, I had a call, intercom. I don't know if you still use your intercom here. Yeah, and said, "Oh, Papa, she is looking for you." And as a performer, he was a friend to the brand. So I said, "Oh, let him in." He came and said, "Brad Charles is here. He wants to see you." At the time, I didn't know who Brad Charles was. So I wanted Brad Charles. So they young call. So I trusted Papa. She asked somebody to sit in for me. I think it was Cox or somebody. And then I went out. At the time, it wasn't Societe Generale. It was SSB. A car, fresh CLK, silver color, sports, red seats, open, convertible. Yeah. So I could see the seat and everything. And this man came out with some fine perfume, everything over him. Lumba. 11 p.m. What is he looking for? He had just come from Germany. And at the time, it was March, April, thereabout. I had released Kokoko. And he had done ABNGhana in December. And he wanted to just come and tell me that I have done well. And that is why. So he told Papa Shi to bring him to me to see the young. He heard that there was this small boy who produced Dasre Jamna. He didn't know Dasre Jamna. Wanted to know who Dasre was. Where is he? I said, "Oh, he lived behind Joy FM. And I'm also here. Me too, I'm here." At the time, I was driving in the Sun Central. So you see my eye was in the CLK. You know, relatively, you could tell that, Charlie, gap home. Straight. How many people do this? How many people who do this? That he just wants to come to that small boy at Joy FM who had recorded a song called. And I remember what he said. He said that it wasn't easy for any young man like Dasre Jamna to join the squad. I said, "Which squad?" He said, "Kojentwi, Amachi Dede, Nana Tufo, Nana Champon, himself." And then he brought the Rex Omans and Manzebas. He said that you needed to record from big studios in the West. Because he used to record from Germany, Bodostega. But we did a Ghana recording from Zab Mallet. And the sound was so good. And that is why he had come to tell me that I should keep it up. He wanted to meet that separate before he left. So I was motivated that, hey, Lumba looking for me to come and say, "My idea." It was a big deal for me. And he did that to a lot of young men. Felix Ousu. He sang a whole song. People think Mefami Kujame is a Lumba song on a Lumba album. No. Mefami Kujame is a song he sang full song and put on Felix Ousu's album. Yeah. Album called Vida. Just because he wanted to help the young man. Honorable Kisi also did one on that album. I'm saying all these things for the young ones to learn how the music industry has survived over the years through some of these people like Daddy Lumba. You can have your own issues with them. Yes, I've told you they are eccentric. Prince, he can change his name from Prince to artist formerly known as Prince. Later on, he said he was called the Symbol. He didn't even have a name. That is how great people in the arts, most of the time, they come across. So we take them like that. We take them like that. Lumba, love me, hate me character. Yes. Ubia we an interview ha no or pretend this one Lumba pa quote me say Mr. Oboa. Ubia ni no. Dia na yere ne mape industry no mo. And I was telling Roman father no say what kind of crap. Roman father can nim Lumba. Or you introvert.
Yeah, okay say on pair on the outgoing type, maybe or them quiet.
Obeshia mo wa ati obe fe ne se bibia nipa no kra ofe ne sa kire mo bi wo kron kan
no.
Yes. But when you no pe wa kwele back. And that is why a lot of people the number the phone Lumba kono bon komo na de chan sim card me nim say na MTN phone na de chan wato akere. He is not out there.
Yeah.
The concentration na
Enyom.
and we will be out here no nyum chabe say he listens wide. He does a lot of research answer on the nyum na ba. Oba Ghana mama we abo kakra ma no. We akọ kakra. We say we aba so abekọ ko na kwa edwa kakra. Sa before and he is eccentric. Yes. Ubia no Lumba nante kakra no na make semboa o meka. Oye eccentric. What you find normal, Lumba will not find it normal. And it is with a lot of creative people, especially those at the top.
Yeah.
Prince.
Yeah.
Prince of America, where we are, baby. So Prince.
Ah.
Michael Jackson competitor Prince.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, one day, I see my son a dean. And the dean or the by any artist formerly known as Prince.
A dean, no.
The new name, no. A woman or by Sam. She said, as if one Prince on PBM. He's called the symbol. It's a sign be drawing be anything.
The symbol.
Yes. The way we feel is yes, so you eccentric.
What can explain that?
Lumba na msia na mkache ne say, bra. Wonyo nyina na me de pa ye makramo.
Yeah.
No say sa. Ono no nyuma ne de pa ye, nda so mo bia.
Oh, sir.
Yes. Ono Lumba no nyuma ope pa say. E da na koma.
Because on choosing the new back one.
Oka. On fancy and that's all mobia.
Tan 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 na 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 na.
And that's all mobia. But I don't know a year. Or hen who may be of
oh baby ofi.
And baby already never do that. And a man any day when you say, I 71 and any day. So only I told him say Macramo.
And I would
yeah, no bizarre day. I'm sure Macramo no. I like the sound.
Okay.
I like the whole production. But Ono in particular, his delivery on the song. I just say, Ubi Udanim.
Yeah.
Na Ujinafu no na Osun Nipano. That's how the vocal delivery is. And for a year or two, Osun say Wakra. No soon in the song. I think it was wow. Minimum how Nyas I didn't say.
Yes,
on your vocal, not like on one. And on where soon you feel I play the song now.
The creativity in that song was wild. It was wild. My mona a man for the what can I say?